going, guys? This is Chris here with another episode of the Alone Zone. I was gonna do this video outside of the car, but unfortunately I can't. Too windy. And if you heard in some of my videos, when it's windy, the audio chops. So unfortunately I can't do that. So I would like to start doing more videos out of this van because one, it's summertime and it's so hot, and two, it should feel more comfortable for me. I'm tired of doing them in here. I got glare coming from this window, so all the videos is always real bright on this side of me. So today I've got a sheet put up over my window to hopefully help that out, which is a chore because when it's windy, trying to get the sheet to stay, not blow all over the place sucks. But anyways, I'm still working on the Q&A. I've got about 75% of it done. All that's left to do is just I guess start uploading it, and that's coming real soon. As I was looking through the questions, there's a lot of really good questions, really good detail that I'm going to give, and you guys should enjoy it. And hopefully it was worth the wait, and you get to know a little bit more about me that you don't know. I'm sweating like a pig. I want to enjoy this wind and have to put this sheet up because of the glare. I guess I could let it ride. I've done it in all my other videos, but I'm trying to be a little more conscious. Yesterday I just took the video and I turned it into a black and white style because the glare was like horrendous, and I was like, maybe if I add a little of their editing magic to it. Plus I'm nostalgic, I'm old school, so I like black and white, so that's pretty cool. Just something I played around with, and if you guys don't like it, I'll quit doing it. But I noticed that YouTube has a lot of cool things you can do to your video to change the look, and I'm going to experiment with it. And if you guys don't like it, again, let me know and I'll stop. But for now, this video here will probably be done in the 8mm format, which is an old video format that back when I was a youngin'. I think it looks pretty cool. So hopefully with the reduced glare, it'll actually make it look a little better than it really is. But so for this video today, we're going to tell a story. And I touched on this story when I first started vlogging, but there's a lot of new subscribers since then that may have not wanted to go back and watch my old videos, or just for whatever reason may have forgotten. I'm going to tell you the story of what, the beginning, 20 years ago, 1994, 6th grade year, the summer of 94. That year I started middle school. Things were changing. I never really, elementary school wasn't bad. I didn't really have any friends, though. I was one of 2 white kids in the entire school. And I'm not a racist or anything. It's just, you're coming from different cultures. And I was, like I've noted many times, I was raised in an all-black area, all-black neighborhood. There were no white people for blocks. So I'm not a racist or anything. It was just, they didn't really, want to mess with me or whatever. So it was kind of hard for me to make friends. But when I was really young, that kind of stuff didn't bother me. So we get to middle school. They do a redistricting. Things change. A lot of the kids that I went to school with did not go to the same middle school as me because of that. So there was a lot of new faces. It was a new start. It was a new time. I was getting older. Mental status was changing. The way I approached, life and school and everything was changing. I was starting to become a young man. Girls were becoming really prevalent. It was, when you're in elementary school, but 12 years old, yeah, it's time, Well, actually I was 11, but I was about to turn 12, so girls were on my mind, and that's really what I wanted. But I really loved school. I finished 1/2 percentage point in the class. So through elementary school, for all kindergarten through elementary, they tallied it, and for those 6 years. And the sheet's blowing around on me, so I apologize while I try to adjust it. It's pretty stupid that I have to do this, but that's why I need a new camera. But anyways, they tallied it up, and me and another girl have been at the school for the entire 6 years. So I finished 1/2 percentage point behind her. She got a 99%, and I got a 98.5%, like grade average, based on like through the entire year. And what that equates to is I got nothing but A's, only got 1 B. I think I got 2 B's, and that was 98.5. She got a 99% because she got 1 B, and it was just an average of a K through 5th grade. So I was kind of bummed out about that because they had a middle school for the gifted. I guess, really, really smart. And I was always really smart. But for each school, had an allotted number of children that were going to be accepted into the program for free. Otherwise, you would have to pay to go to the school. So my grandmother obviously did not have the money to pay for me. And the elementary school I went to only chose one. And because of that half a percentage point, the girl got to go and I didn't. So I had to go to the normal middle school. And I like to think that if I went to the gifted middle school, my life would be way different right now. I don't think I would have had near as much trouble. I would have continued loving education, loving going to school, and I think I probably would have made friends and, did pretty well. But that didn't happen. So anyways, so I go to my middle school. Warrenton Middle School was the name of it. And at first it was great. It was a new experience. It was different. But I did notice a lot, through the first few months, the first half semester, or the first semester rather. New faces, new crowd, just a lot of things I wasn't used to. I was the pudgy kid. I didn't have the best clothes. Really, run down clothing. But my grandmother tried her best. She would even go into debt. She would get credit cards, max them out just to try to get me better clothes. And she wasn't able to pay them off, and it ruined her credit. And I feel bad about that. I really do. I didn't ask her to. I didn't demand it. I didn't cry and whine about it, but she felt like she had to, because I wouldn't mention, I get made fun of for this and that, and I guess she felt bad and did it. And looking back on it, why do kids have to be so cruel? But anyways, I never forget her name. Her name was Anna. Long, beautiful black hair. She was, I believe, ethnic, maybe a little Armenian possibly, but she was gorgeous. And we were only 11, 12 years old, but I know girls were something I was interested in, because I'd never had any friends, and much less a girl that was a friend. So I was like, yes. For whatever reason, I picked her out. It was, she wasn't the most popular, but she did pretty good. She had a lot of friends, and she was pretty known, but she wasn't like super popular or anything like that. It wasn't like the worst kid in school trying to go after the most popular girl, but I was always shy and reserved kid, and so it was kind of hard for me to approach people and talk to people, especially when I was starting the beginnings of getting made fun of, getting put down, and not really knowing how to handle that. I knew early on that my mind wasn't going to be able to compute and handle this. And I go from making pretty much straight A's, and I'm noticing I'm getting C's and D's, and I'm like, because I couldn't focus on school, because that stuff was bothering me. And maybe, me focusing and thinking about, this girl didn't help either. But nonetheless, I built up the courage all year. So winter break comes up, and all I could think about was her. And I said, you know what, this going into spring, towards the end of the year, there's, the big spring dances and all that stuff. I'd never been to a dance or anything. This was all new. I was going to not only try to ask her to that, but I was going to, before that, try to get to know her a little bit and hopefully go out and do other stuff. So I built up the courage. And it took everything in me. I was so scared, so nervous. I can picture the classroom setting. I can picture not exactly what I was wearing, but I could see her sitting there next to her friend, and her friend's name was Danielle. And we were in a portable classroom because the school was getting overflow, and they were building a new middle school, to help that. But for 6th grade year, it was like overflow, so they had to bring in the portable units. And we were in there, and I can remember coming into the classroom, and I'm seeing her sitting over there, and I determined that day was the day. I was going to ask her if she would like to go to the movies with me. And so, like I said, all year just thinking about her, wanting to talk to her, not really, focusing on my schooling like I should, but then again I had other issues, coming from the other side that were affecting that as well. But anyways, excuse me, my mouth's getting dry. And I still drink these everyday Mountain Dew Kickstarts. If it wasn't for these, I don't think I'd be able to, actually, do anything. Because whatever it is about these, it makes me, it gives me enough of a boost to, like I said, for the last 2.5 months or so, I've been going, to the most crowded place in town every Friday. And in between that, and during the other days of the week, I try to go to like Walmart or Big Lots or some other store just to get out, so I don't end up back home. If it wasn't for one of these every day, I don't know if I'd do that. I'd probably go back home and lay back down on the couch. But back to my story. So I built up the courage, and I can't believe it's been 20 years, and I just can't believe that I still remember like 99% of this in my head. It's hot outside, it's springtime, you know, we're coming towards the end of the school year, and I know it's time. I've got to do this before it's too late, because she may be going to the, new middle school they're building, and she did. But, no, she didn't go to it 7th grade year, she went to it 8th grade year, but let me finish my story anyways. I walk in, she's sitting there next to her friend Danielle. They're talking, they're laughing, they're chuckling. And, I didn't even know if she knew my name or was aware of me. But anyways, I walk into the classroom. I immediately walk up to her desk and I say, "Hi, Anna. My name is Chris. I was wondering if you would like to go to the movies with me sometime. I really think you're cute." And she told me, "I'm sorry, but you're just too fat. I can't be seen with somebody like you." And that broke my heart. And that's what started. I was just crushed. My heart sank. I was not even the same. I think I even started tearing up. But I was in class, and all I wanted to do was go home at that point. I didn't want to be there anymore. And vivid as day, I'm like, that just crushed me. It took me so long to build up the courage. And boom, I got shot away. So the spring dance comes and I don't go. I end up staying home. And on top of that, nobody else was really talking to me or wanting to get to know me or any of that stuff. And I was getting made fun of left and right. I was being called Meatloaf and all kinds of other names. Even the PE coaches would just harass me. They'd call me by my nickname. This is a shame when a teacher of a school, and this is physical education, but because I was the fat kid in physical education, they made me like a martyr, I guess. When we had PE, the coach would single me out, and he would embarrass me. He would tell me I would have to run 2 laps on a track, knowing that I wasn't going to be able to run 2 laps. So basically, I know I'm getting off track of my story, but this is the kind of stuff I went through. I remember, again, this is clear as day. One time going to PE class, the PE coach said, if Chris, Meatloaf was the name, if Meatloaf cannot run 2 laps without stopping, then the whole rest of you are going to have to do 50 push-ups. Well, guess what? I couldn't do that, and I know I couldn't do that, and he knew I couldn't do that. I was out of shape. I was a fat, pudgy kid. There was no way I was going to be able to run 2 laps without stopping. So I run 1 lap and I didn't stop, but as the next lap was starting, I stopped. I had to. And boy, the coach made all the other kids do 50 push-ups, and they hated me, and they ridiculed me, and they put me down. That just didn't make matters easy. And there was other instances where I was called out, where he had all the kids line up around me and asked me to do, I think, 10 push-ups, and I wasn't good at doing push-ups either, so I did about 5 push-ups, and I couldn't do 10, so he made the rest of the class run laps because I couldn't do 10 push-ups in a row. And there's other instances, but anyways, this is the kind of stuff I went through, and it just killed my psyche. It killed me. And we're not even in high school yet. I've even mentioned that I had high school teachers call me by my nickname. They didn't even know my real name when they did the roll call. They didn't say Chris Strickland, raise your hand. They said Pork Chop, raise your hand, which was my nickname when we got to high school. But anyways, back to the girl. That crushed me. So school ended. I did pass the 6th grade with I went from being a 98.5 percentile of the average of a 6-year span from kindergarten through 5th grade to my 6th grade year finishing with a C average. And I don't know the percentages of that, but I had a C average. Straight A student pretty much to a C average in 1 year, just like that. And then there was the summer of '94. I had no friends. It was one of the worst years of my life. The first girl I ever liked just crushed me. And I was like, oh man, I'm going into 7th grade. I'm going to go, I'm going to be 12 going into 13. And things are really going to change then. It's like I'm going to have to build up the courage again to try to make friends. And there's going to be another girl I might like. And there was. And I'll tell you more in depth of the story of the 7th grade year in one of my next vlogs. That's what I'm saying. 20 years ago is when I crafted the dream. I told myself, I don't care about fame, I don't care about fortune, I don't care about cars, money, clothes. The only thing that Chris wants is to meet a girl who will love him for him, not care what he looks like, not put him down, call him names, not care, what car he's being driven in, just not care about all that stuff. That one day when I got older, of course, I just want to fall in love and, with a beautiful woman that I can walk hand in hand with every day of my life, which is the most special thing in the world to me, and I've said that numerous times. It's so beautiful to have someone who will be there with you regardless, through thick and thin, through it all, and love you unconditionally and not leave your side. Unless you do something that forces her to, she will stick with you regardless. That's the girl, and that's the dream I crafted, and that's what I put in my head. That won't call you fat, that won't call you ugly, that'll love you for you, that'll get to know you, the real person inside. And that one day we can get married and have a beautiful wedding, and I can become a father and have children, and I can provide for a family. I can provide for my beautiful wife and be proud to show her off and show my beautiful children off, and just be a proud man, because to have a wife and children and be a father, a loving husband, and a provider for a family would make me feel like I'm king of the world. And at 12 years old, I told myself that. I knew what I wanted. And it's funny, I was very mature for my age. These are the kind of things I thought about. But my heart was crushed. And little did I know the summer of '94, as I spent that summer, instead of outside playing or trying to enjoy the summer like a normal kid, I spent that summer indoors a lot, crying a lot, upset a lot. The depression had begun. The anxiety had started to manifest. Fears had started to develop. I spent that summer listening to sad, and if you go back in the night, that era of music, '94, '93, there was a lot of sad love songs during that time. So I spent my time listening to a lot of sad songs on the radio. I record them to tape, and I'd listen to them, every day, and cry myself to sleep. And what normal 12-year-old does that? It's just something in my head knew it was going to be a rough road for me, and that was just the beginning. But I never could have imagined how it would turn out for me up to this point. What I would go through mentally, emotionally, everything I would attempt, I would pretty much fail at. And when not having the mental willpower or capacity to overcome, and knowing that, I didn't know at that time that I wasn't going to have the functioning up here, because I wasn't thinking about, oh God, I get the mental stuff from my mother's side and my father's side. What little I know of it, I know my father experienced it, and genetics plays a huge role in this stuff, and little did I know that I wasn't going to be able to put this stuff out of my head, that 20 years later, I could still vividly remember walking into that classroom and the scene and what I just told you guys. That I can remember the moments at PE, that I can remember so many other moments so vividly, so clear, and I can't get them out of my head. It's like I'm stuck in that time period. I'm in that time period waiting to meet that girl still, but I'm about to be 32. It's like I'm stuck in that time period, and the thing that's gonna jolt me forward is to meet that girl that's going to end up being my future wife, that's going to bear my children, and gladly bear my children, lovingly bear my children, and believe in marriage and believe if there's problems, you work it out. You don't just run to the lawyer to ask for a divorce. You don't cheat on your husband if things aren't going so well. You know, and me, I would never, never. I don't care if I was married, how bad things got. The last thing I would do, if I'm married to a woman, I'm committed to that woman, the last thing that I'm going to do is run out and cheat on that woman who agreed to love me and marry me just because we're going through some minor problems that can be worked on. But I'm 32. And back to the summer of 94, I remember on my 12th birthday, I said, June 24th, 1994, I even wrote this down, although, like I said, I tore it up sometime along the years, and I just found a little piece at the end that said, kill myself, June 24th, 94. And that's when I remembered, you know what? I told myself that if I had not met a woman, had a family by the time 20 years rolls around, if things are still like what they are now, if life hasn't gotten better, basically. And I know it was just the beginning, but I told myself that if my dream hasn't came true in 20 years, then I will kill myself on my 32nd birthday. Because I had done the math, I'd be 32 in 20 years. But I'm not going to. And I can still see 12-year-old Chris in my head. I can't see myself saying that or writing that, but I can see 12-year-old Chris crying about it, screaming to the heavens above, why? Not when I was 12, I didn't scream, but as I got older and the rejection kept happening and the stuff kept happening, screaming to the high heavens, why? I just want love, I just want to know what it's like to have a female hug me, kiss me, love me, want to be with me, not put me down. You know, all those great things that I described about love that I still believe in wholeheartedly, although I'm pretty much hopeless at this point in my life. I just cannot believe that, God, 20 years. It's been 20 years since that summer. And I'm still alone. And I'm still dreaming. I haven't officially given up on it. Nor have I done myself any favors the last couple of years because I haven't really attempted, but I'm just so scared of another rejection. I'm so scared of another failure. And that's something I'm going to have to work on. Because if I don't really take that step, I'll never know. But then again, there's no woman in my life to try to take that step with. And it's going to be absolutely impossible at my state to do it in real life. That's why the internet comes into play. I don't care what anybody says. I do believe that I can meet someone who is real and not no bullshitter. Even though there's been a lot of bullshitters I've met on the internet over the years. But I do believe, playing the cards right with the technology we have now that I did not have back then, that I can meet somebody on the internet who is real, honest, and true. Who they are, what they look like, who they say they are. And like I said, I would never take any chances unless I'm able to build up trust that that person I'm talking to on the other end is actually real. Meaning I'd have to talk to you on the phone and hear your voice on the phone. Then I'd have to do a video chat and hear that same voice. And I'd have to make sure I see pictures that are consistent. And it's just, long story short, I have to know before I even take that step. And for me, it's going to be more comfortable to meet somebody over the internet. Simply because it's kind of awkward for me in person. But I think that I can build up enough level of comfort. I can talk enough, share enough stories. Just basically get to know you enough to where when the in-person happens, yeah, it's going to be awkward, but nowhere near as awkward because I'll feel like I've already made that connection to you. You know what I'm saying? So the internet, to me, is going to be my last stand. I don't think I can approach a woman in real life. Every time I've tried, I've been rejected. So it's time. The internet's going to be my saving grace, hopefully. And this time, like I said, given the technology we have, I won't get screwed again. But I just wanted to share that 20-year story with you. Again, for those who didn't know in detail. That's basically how it all started, and that's basically, minor snippets of some of the things I went through 20 years ago to get to the dream and to get to where I'm at now 20 years later. I've told my whole story, or most of my story, And this is just the beginning. And like I said, I just cannot believe it's been 20 years. And I'll tell you right now, if I'm alive in 20 more years, I just cannot fathom. If in 20 years from my 32nd birthday, if on June 24th, 2034, if I happen to still be alive, I just couldn't imagine, at that point, not being married and have had a family and have children that are pretty much ready to go, to college. Or, be in high school, you know what I mean? I honestly cannot fathom, 20 years from now, not still being alone. Let's just put it like that. So, now my voice is starting, my throat's starting to hurt, rather. My mouth is really dry. And I think this is a really long video here. So, I apologize. I didn't want it to be this long, but that's how it goes. So, until next time, guys, thank you for entering my alone zone. That's it. That's all. Hope you enjoyed my little story here. Q&A is coming. First part will start uploading either later tonight or tomorrow afternoon. Alright, guys. Till next time. Peace.